The rolling waves can be heard from your holiday cabin, finally comfortable on the coastline of Ionia, soaking up the warmth of the sun. You turn to your side, finding your wives led next to you in bed, still fast asleep. You get out of bed, kissing each of them on the tops of their foreheads. "Morning, sleepyheads," you whisper gently. Heading into the kitchen, you boil a kettle, grabbing 3 mugs and placing a tea bag in each. Getting some bread from the fridge and popping it in the toaster. Minutes later, you have a tray of toast, fruit, and coffee in your hands, walking back into the bedroom and placing it carefully onto the bedside table, and opening the curtains. Caitlyn's and Vi's eyes slowly open. "Good morning. I made us breakfast," you say, pointing to the tray next to the bed. "Thank you, love," Kate says, heart full of warmth. She pulls the tray up onto her lap and passes Vi a mug and a plate. As you sit down beside them, she passes you yours. "How long have you been up?" Vi inquires. About an hour," you say, still a little groggy. She nods. "Still the first awake, even on holiday," Caitlyn points out, and you give her a gentle chuckle of acknowledgement. "What should we do today?" Vi asks, and the room goes quiet as you all think. None of you thought of that, really. Probably should have. "I heard there's a few shows on at the moment," Caitlyn mentions as she pulls the leaflet from the nightstand, showing it to you and Vi. "The air show looks interesting," Vi comments, and you nod in agreement. "I don't disagree. Let's head out then," Caitlyn says. It doesn't take you long to get dressed and ready, heading out the door. The air show doesn't start for a little while, so while you wait, you take a nice long stroll across the beach. And funnily enough, that's exactly where the air show was to take place. So it would be hard to run late. Only 30 minutes later, the loudspeaker announces the commencement of the show. Standing on the pier, arms around each other's waists, the airships lined up and people with parachutes launched into the air, drifting quickly and gracefully to the soft sand below. "This is amazing," you say in awe, as your wives nod. "Truly a sight to behold," Caitlyn agrees. "Looks like a ton of fun," Vi states, looking to the show above. "Something is telling me you feel a little left out," Caitlyn chuckles, and you laugh along. "Maybe a little," Vi admits. "You never know. There's always a chance that one day we might," you point out. "That'd be cool as hell." Later that night, you lay across the outside lounges on the cabin balcony, looking up at the stars, feeling relaxed and refreshed. A little tired, but content nonetheless. "What a day," Vi states. "It's been amazing," you continue, as Caitlyn nods in acknowledgement. "I don't want it to end," she says quietly. "Well, we've got 2 weeks still ahead of us," you point out. "That's true. I guess I'm just enjoying the peace. Our lives have been filled with so much chaos lately. I'm just worried when we head home, we'll be doing it all over again," she says honestly. "Whatever comes our way, we'll do it together. For better or for worse, right? That's the vow we made," Vi encourages. "I guess you're right. We sure did." The balcony goes silent for a short moment. "Why don't we head inside and watch a movie?" you suggest. "Sounds like a great idea, love," Caitlyn agrees, and Vi nods along. As you all stand up to head in, tucking under the covers and snuggling up together, feeling each other's warmth, kind, loving words gentle hands and soft kisses as you watch the movie. A silent promise of commitment and companionship. No matter what happens, you'll be by their side as they are yours. As the night draws on and the movie ends, you make yourself comfortable closing your eyes, your head resting on Vi's chest, Caitlyn's hand in yours as you drift off to sleep. Finally, it's time to move into your new home. It was nice to have a break with your honeymoon and all, but now it's back to business. Rebuilding after the fire in your apartment, you stand together on the pavement, hand in hand, looking at all the furniture that's already been delivered. Well, it's a start, Caitlyn says. It sure is, but we'll make this house a home in no time, you encourage, and Vi nods agreeing. We could have at least kept our old bed though, Vi says, a little annoyed. It was covered in ash, Vi, and smells like smoke. No way that was happening, Caitlyn protests. Yeah, I guess you're right, Vi admits. But hey, at least the mattress is here, you add. What do you say we get this lot inside? It'll be easier to organise considering we don't have to dump it all in one place for the time being, you point out. Fair point. Let's get started, Caitlyn says, gently kissing you on your cheek. The next 2 hours you spend organising the bathroom utilities and bedroom furniture, and the kitchen and living room items were all destroyed by the apartment fire, so there wasn't much to do there, just to wait for them to arrive. Not bad, cosy enough for now, Vi states, admiring the hard work you've all put into the move. You nod, agreeing. What's next? Caitlyn asks. Well, I'd say probably heading to the shops to grab food and cutlery and all that, you say thoughtfully, and she nods while thinking, before you speak up once more. I've still got some energy if you're up for it, you suggest, but Vi shakes her head. Nah, I'm beat. Maybe tomorrow, a little tucked out. Same here, but you definitely know what you're looking at, so if you want to, Caitlyn adds. You nod understanding. True. Oh! I know. You think Jinx would be up for it? You continue. She certainly got the imagination and thought process for it, and a little bonding time wouldn't hurt, Vi answers. I say it's worth a shot, she continues. So about an hour later, you were strolling through the streets of Piltover with Jinx, who definitely looked a little uncomfortable. Hey, are you alright? It's okay if you're not up for it, you say kindly. Nah, I'm fine. Just feel like a fish out of water, that's all, she says, rubbing the back of her neck. Well, try not to think about it too much. I've been there, especially when I first moved here. One big city, huh? She nods as you continue to walk shop to shop, grabbing groceries and utilities. And Jinx did actually manage to think of a couple things that didn't even cross your mind. And you invite her over to see Vi and Caitlyn, and she accepts your offer a little more willingly than she would have a few months ago. As she helps you tow the bags back home, walking through the door, Vi and Caitlyn are sat on the beanbags talking, smiling and laughing. We're back, you say, popping the bags down on the counter. Hey, sweetheart. And Jinx, lovely to see you, Caitlyn mentions. Yeah, you too, Jinx replies as Vi gets up to give her a hug. You two have a good time? She asks. And you nod. It was pretty fun if you ask me, you smile. And Vi takes a peek into the bags, gasping excitedly. You picked my favourite pasta! Almost jumping for joy. My idea, of course, Jinx says, taking the credit, and Vi hugs her again. You know me too well, sis. As the day goes on, unpacking the main stuff for the kitchen and eating a little lunch with your lovers and sister-in-law, you find yourselves just living the moment, almost as if time is moving in slow motion. At one point, Kate gets a little too close to Vi for Jinx's liking, glaring at her slightly, but she laughs it off as a joke. Hey, you're married, don't let me stop you. The room is silent for a moment before the room fills with laughter again, and she heads out a little while later. You finally start to feel a little sleepy, letting out a yawn, resting your head on Kate's shoulder, and Vi leans in on your other side. What a day it's been. You wake up to your alarm going off. It's 6 a.m. Your partner's by your side as they kiss you lovingly on the cheek. Have a good day, sweetheart, Caitlyn says warmly. Don't get too stressed, it's just an introduction day. You'll do amazing, Vi encourages, gently cupping your face in her hands as she plants a gentle kiss to your lips, before you manage to lift yourself out of bed and into the bathroom, brushing your teeth and taking a shower, or hopping into your uniform, joining Caitlyn and Vi at the table for breakfast. Are you looking forward to your first day, love? Caitlyn asks, and you nod. Yeah, though I am a little nervous, you say, scratching your head. You'll do great, babe. Just keep your head up and focus on the task at hand, and you can't go wrong. Vi continues, giving you a warm smile. Thanks. That helps, you say warmly, and they nod as you stand to leave. But they didn't let you go without a hug and a kiss. Hopping into your car and driving down to work, you'd have a lot on your mind, but with your lover's words in mind, you take a deep breath and keep your head held high. By the time you get to work and into the building, you'd managed to compose yourself a little. Your manager showed you where your station is and helped you set up your station before setting up the training program, going through all the protocol and what you need to do. Once that was out the way, you took a couple test calls before getting into the real deal, with the supervisor next to you in case you made a mistake, which somehow you didn't. They explained that for the first 2 weeks, there'd always be someone there with you, due to the importance of the work. Then you'd be left to your own devices. At 5 p.m, you got back into your car and drove home. Walking through the door, Caitlyn and Vi already waiting for you. There they are, look who's home, Vi says cheerful as you take your seat beside them. How did it go, love? Caitlyn asks. Well, I learnt a lot and it was a little much at first, but I think I'm getting the hang of it, you answer. Good. Just keep doing what you're doing and you'll be a natural in no time at all, she continues, while wrapping an arm around your shoulders, kissing you on the top of your head. Must be a little tuckered out though, Vi asks. Yeah, that's one word for it, you say honestly before she moves over to your free side, wrapping an arm around your waist. Then let us help you rest, she says with a smirk on her face as you relax into their arms. They hold you there a while before you need to get changed into your pajamas. And Caitlyn had already made a snackish dinner for you all by the time you came out of the bedroom. All sat at the table, you eat happily, talking about your days, exchanging stories. If you were being honest, you were all a little sleepy from all the work you got done today. But alas, you were to do it all again tomorrow. After dinner, you cleaned up and put your head into a nice book. Road Trip with a Vampire, your new favourite book. Vi peering over your shoulder every now and again. Tonight was probably a good night to head to bed a little early. Kate and Vi aren't exactly tired yet, but they would join you later anyhow. You curl up with the covers, turning off the lights and letting your eyes slowly close, drifting off into a peaceful night's sleep. And by the time your partners joined you, they admired your sleeping, peaceful form, kissing you on the head goodnight and settling down beside you carefully, trying not to wake you up. While getting into bed, the night is calm, the wind slow and peaceful. No sound but yours and your lover's breathing as sleep washes over them. It's been a long day, but a productive one at that. So with that in mind, you ready yourself for the day ahead tomorrow. It's a normal afternoon, just like any other. Caitlyn and Vi are outside talking while you are making the three of you some coffee to have in the garden. You take care in pouring the water into each mug, placing it on the tray and lifting it to carry it outside. Just as you were walking out, you bump into the counter. You try to catch yourself, and in the process you end up dropping the tray of mugs, all crashing on the marble floor with a loud shatter. No, you curse to yourself as you see it happen before your eyes. Gripping your hair in frustration, you stand frozen for a moment, unsure of what to do and a little in shock of what just happened. Caitlyn and Vi come rushing in to check on you. "Sweetheart, are you all right? What happened?" Caitlyn says, voice filled with concern, and Vi follows behind her as she spots the ever so slight shiver before looking to the ground to see the ceramic in pieces. "Oh, babe, it's alright. It's just pottery, it's okay," she reassures. Caitlyn tiptoes cautiously over the broken shards and spilt coffee to get to you, wrapping you tightly in her arms. "Darling, it's okay, it was an accident. They don't mean anything, alright? What matters is that you're not hurt or burned, are you?" she asks, and you shake your head. No, I'm not hurt." Caitlyn nods, rubbing your back gently. "Sorry," you say. "No, don't apologize, Wyan. It's okay. It was an accident. Look, let's clean this up, yeah? No big deal." "Right, don't move. Stay there. I'll grab a dustpan and brush," she says, walking away slowly. A few minutes later, all the big shards were cleaned up, while you mopped up the spilt coffee and hoovered the rest that was impossible to see, as Vi remade the drinks in different mugs. "See? Like nothing ever happened," Caitlyn points out. "Drinks made and ready once more," she continues. "But the mugs are still broken, Vi lays a hand on your shoulder carefully. "Babe, you're not with your father anymore. You're with us, your wives, who love you so much. You're worth so much more to us than some silly old mugs," she says honestly. You look up at her and smile. "Thanks, Vi." Your voice quiet. "No, that's what we're here for," she continues as Caitlyn comes to your side. "Exactly my thinking. Darling, please don't worry too much about it, okay?" Caitlyn asks. And you nod. "Yeah, okay, I'll try," you say a little more positively than before. "That's our Wyan," Caitlyn encourages you, kissing you on the cheek. "Now, how about we drink these before they go cold?" she suggests. "Sounds like a plan," you agree. Not too long later, you sit at the outside table with your drinks. The moments of earlier slowly fading into the past, as the conversation grows and the laughter and reminisce fills the air. Times of old and new. At first you were a little worried. The mugs were brand new and you'd all taken a liking to them. But in that moment, all they were concerned about was your well-being, making sure you weren't cut or burned by the scalding water, that you were well. And you realize that what they said was true. The mugs didn't matter, just another day-to-day item. Sometimes mugs break and shatter. Sometimes they last for decades. But your love for them? Unbreakable. Nothing can change that, whatever happens now or in the future. You can't change what happened. The mugs are gone now. However, there are still some on the table in front of you, and resting in the cabinet too. So as you finish your drinks and head back inside, finding some clarity and peace of mind, you manage to move past it. Life lesson of the day: you cannot remain in the past. It only stunts your growth. What you can do now is focus on the future, learning from those mistakes. They don't define your life, they carve your way to the future. You are driving home from your shift at Central Command. It's 5:30 in the evening, and the night is cold as the breeze rolls through the open windows on the driver's side. You were looking forward to getting home to your wives, but you didn't notice smoke coming from the hood of your car as you drive, and the check engine light flickering before you as your car slows to a halt on the middle of the busy motorway. Oh no, you curse to yourself as you struggle to pull your car over to the hard shoulder, getting out and standing on the side of the road. At first you have your head in your hands, a little panicked, unsure of what to do. So you call Caitlyn, waiting for her to pick up. Her voice is curious on the other end of the line. "Hello, love. Everything all right?" she asks. You shake your head despite her not being able to see you. "No, my car just broke down on the motorway," you say, your voice annoyed and a little stressed. Caitlyn was quiet for a moment before responding. "All right, okay. Call the tow truck, we'll be there in 5, she instructs calmly. "Thanks, Kate." The call ends, and you have yet another call to make. Back at the house, Caitlyn turns to Vi. "Vi, we gotta go. Ryan just broke down on the motorway." Vi looks at her, already grabbing her keys. "Alright then, let's get going," she replies. The drive to you doesn't take too long, but it felt that way. They know how anxious you get, and they weren't sure how they'd find you when they got there. As they reach you, they can see the tow truck already there, taking a look at your engine. They park up and hop out, walking over to you. "Hey babe, we're here," Vi says gently, and as expected, you were a little shaky. "Come here," she says, opening her arms to you, and you walk into them. "You're doing great, Ryan. It's okay, we're here now." She gently rubs your back as Caitlyn goes over to talk to the roadside recovery. "Sorry, I know all you want to do is chill and deal with this," you say, a little guilty. Nope, we are not doing this, Ryan. It can't be helped, alright? We're here for you, alright? She says, ruffling your hair, making you laugh, comforted by her words. "That's it," she continues, and Caitlyn joins you again. "They're going to take it to the garage for repairs. It can't be done on the roadside. We'll pick it up before your next shift," Caitlyn says calmly, as you walk over to Vi's car and buckling in. "It's all going to work out, love. It can be fixed," Caitlyn reassures you, and you nod in acknowledgement. And when you finally reach home, they do nothing but spoil you to cheer you up, throwing a blanket over your shoulders, warm mugs of hot chocolate, and near the end of the night, they show you just how much they love you, leaving trails of kisses down your cheeks and neck. I don't like that uniform of yours, Vi says, a little more excitable than earlier. But Kate stops her. Are you ready for that, Wyan? I know before that wasn't really your thing, and you look lovingly at both of them. Appreciation in your heart. You're right, this thing is a little ugly. A smirk lining your face. And they look at each other before nodding. Well, I think it's time we lose it then, Caitlyn continues as they lead you into the bedroom. Now, I think we can all guess what is happening next. However, we'll leave that behind closed doors. And when you are done, you all plop beside each other, tucking under the covers. Your car may have broken down. However, it seems they know exactly how to cheer you up. Plus, it wasn't a write-off. Another bonus. Now, all laid in bed next to each other, your eyes couldn't help but close from the warmth and love, and Vi kisses you gently on the forehead, moving hair from your face. As you drift off to sleep, you hear Caitlyn whisper in your ears beside you. Good night, love. Sleep well. Caitlyn and Vi are somewhere in Piltover for the day. Just the two of them. That's okay, of course. You spend days where it's just you and Kate, or you and Vi. However, all of your messages are left on read. Silly things, really. What do you want me to make for dinner? No response, and what time will you be home, so dinner's still hot? Received, read, waiting, and nothing. To hell with it. Just make anything. But, wait. Did they want to have dinner at home? Maybe they're going out. Maybe they just didn't want to disappoint? I'll ask later. Hey, did you even want to eat at home tonight? Just let me know. You text again. Left on read. Really? Fine. Then that's fine. Just make some mac and cheese. That can be put back if they want it later. You stand in the kitchen, feeling a little frustrated. Okay, yeah, they want a day to themselves. But the least they could do is let you know what's happening with dinner. And when night falls, you eat alone, mindlessly picking at the macaroni in the bowl. And then you start to wonder, did something happen? Are they okay? Are they alright? Maybe one more message won't hurt. Hey, I'm starting to get a little worried. Did something happen? Are you okay? You stare at your phone, waiting for a response. Received. Read. Caitlyn is typing, and nothing. Fantastic. You decide just to go to bed. Violet, love. Wyan's getting worried, Caitlyn says with concern, and Vi sighs. I know, but we can't reply with these guys on our tail. Try to respond. I'll cover for you, she says, holding a defensive stance against the opposition. But she couldn't hold it for long. Fuck! We've got to move, Kate, she shouts. Caitlyn tucks her phone back in her pocket, heading for the next target. We'll have to go back there later. It's far too dangerous. Let's just move on to the next target, Caitlyn suggests, and Vi nods as they make their way out of the broken-down factory. The collective is really stepping up their game. I swear there's more than last time. There was a silence for a moment. Yes, agreed. Let's just hope that other bases aren't the same. And by the time they had made their way out of Base 1, they'd find a quiet place to reply to you. We're okay, sweetheart. Just a little caught up on a mission. We'll be back in a couple of days. Didn't get much of a day out. We'll see you soon. We love you. And then Vi also replies, mirroring Caitlyn. We're safe, babe. We love you, and we'll see you soon. They waited. Received, not read, no reply. Must be asleep. Hopefully they're not too worried, Vi suggests, and Kate nods. Alright then. Ready to move to the next one? Kate asks, and Vi nods. And by the time you woke up the next morning to their messages, you feel a wave of relief. A little frustrated once more, but not at them. Yesterday was supposed to be a day for them, and now, again, it was a mission. You sigh. Okay, get home safe. I love you both too. You respond. And now knowing the situation, not expecting a reply, at least for a few hours. They'd find a way. They always do. Just like they did last night. Pulling on your uniform, eating the leftovers for breakfast and getting in your car ready to head to work. And who knows, maybe you'll be helping them as their operator. There's always a chance. But what you were unaware of was the devilish plot that is unfolding, with an organization at the controls that, if not beaten, all of Piltover and Zorn combined could be in grave danger. And Caitlyn and Vi were the ones sent out to investigate. Either way, they had a job to do. And so do you. Stick to your roles, and you'll be fine. Just don't get distracted. You arrive at work sitting down at your desk, computer on, headset on, clocking in, waiting for the calls to start coming in. After 5 minutes, someone does, and you pick up. You arrive at work sitting down at your desk, computer on, headset on, clocking in and waiting for the calls to start coming in. And after 5 minutes, someone does. You pick up. Hello, you've reached 999. What is your emergency? You say calmly.
Someone is on my property without my consent.
A woman's voice says, with an alarmingly calm voice for the situation. Okay, and what do they look like? You ask, trying to get as many details as possible.
Let me see. One has pink hair, and the other long blue hair. They are both armed.
You write down the description on the computer. Okay, can you give me your address, please? You ask professionally, and she gives you her address. It's an oddly remote area. Okay, I see. We have 2 enforcers in that area currently, and they are already at your location. Are the trespassers wearing armor in blue and gold? You ask. The lady hums for a moment before answering.
Yes, blue and gold armor. Yes.
You type it into the information section on the computer. Ma'am, I believe they are enforcers. Let me get in contact with them to gauge the situation. Can you hold? There was a pause before she said,
Yes.
hesitation in her voice. And you put her on hold, transferring the line to Kate and Vi. Caitlyn, Vi, what's going on? I have a caller at your location claiming you're breaking and entering. You say, What? That's like... Okay, never mind. This woman is dangerous. It's not a residence, love. It's an abandoned Hex-Tech factory, Caitlyn says calmly. We need more information. Vi follows. You nod. Okay, I'll get more information. Hang on. You take the woman off hold. "Can I get your name and age, please?" you ask.
Odalia, 32.
"And how many people are inside the residence?" you ask.
Around 15 of us. It's a house party.
You shake your head, lips sinning into a straight line. At the blunt lie. So you make your own. "Well, that explains a disturbance complaint. The officers are there to check out everything is in order. Please see that you speak to them as soon as possible." She was silent for a moment before a slight curse and ruffling can be heard. The line's cut off. In the factory, Odalia shouts,
"Boys, we've got company. In position."
and Vi receives your page. "Caller Odalia, 32 years old. 15 people are inside the premises, claiming it's a house party, seemingly distressed, and the call has ended." She hung up herself. Caitlyn and Vi look at each other. "That's no house party. We'll take it from here, love. Good work," Caitlyn answers. "All right, stay safe." The call ends, and you sit at your desk wondering what is going down at the factory. You send the information of the call to Caitlyn and Vi, then take a sip of your coffee. Your head a little dizzy, but you play it off, suspecting it's just from the adrenaline. Man, the rest of this shift will be exhausting if that's the case. And you were right. The feeling didn't go away. You started to remember the events of yesterday with Kate and Vi, the missed messages. But you couldn't see why. It was resolved now, wasn't it? Must be stress from that. Whatever it was, you have to put that behind you now. You have calls to take, but it's not easy. Either way, you press on. The factory door is kicked in and Caitlyn and Vi's eyes widen. "Ambush!" Caitlyn shouts. "Take cover!" Vi echoes as they duck behind some old storage containers. Caitlyn takes aim while Vi investigates, grabbing Kate's camera from her belt. "Crystal orbs and hextech crystals," she mumbles to herself more than Kate, but Kate heard either way. "What?" she questions as Vi takes a picture. Caitlyn takes another shot. "There's too many of them. Gloves on, bag one of each of them, and let's get out of here," Caitlyn instructs, and Vi follows a command before tapping her shoulder. "All right, I've got it. Let's get out of here." And they make their move. Finally, you're home from work. The last 48 hours have been exhausting to you, and you are ready to kick up your feet, putting your coat on the hanger, when you get a notification on your phone, a message from Caitlyn. "We'll be home in 15, love. See you soon." You let out a sigh of relief as you reply, "See you soon," with a heart emoji at the end. You sit on the sofa and you wait for them to come home. And 15 minutes later, just as Caitlyn had said, she and Vi walk through the door, covered in dirt and scrapes. "Oh my goodness, are you okay?" you say with a raised voice and concern, and they both nod. "Babe, we need to talk." Vi starts. "It's nothing bad, we just need to clear something up, okay?" And you nod as they join you on the sofa, wrapping an arm around your shoulders each. "What do you want to talk about?" you ask curiously. "About yesterday, with the texting," Vi starts. You nod, listening intently. "We would never ignore you on purpose," Caitlyn continues. "If we don't reply, we've read it. We've been held up, okay?" She reassures gently, caressing your shoulder with her thumb. You look down, feeling a little guilty. "I'm sorry. I was just worried. And at first..." You start, but stop yourself, and Vi gives you a smile. "Hey, You don't need to be sorry. But please tell us. We're listening. She says. I was a little frustrated. I didn't know if you wanted dinner here or if you even did want dinner. I know it's silly, but it just got to me. Caitlyn gives you a kiss to the temple as she listens. We get that, love. We do. And if we could have, we would have messaged you back. Yeah? She looks into your eyes as she speaks, and you nod. Even if me and Kate are having a day out just for us. We know that you can get a little paranoid, so we'll always respond. And if we don't, it's probably work, Vi says, and she makes sure you understand. You nod once more. Yeah, I understand it. I get it. And thank you for finding the time to reply to me. I was asleep when you messaged back. Caitlyn giggles. We figured. Pausing for a moment before continuing. And just for the record, we were planning to come home and eat. A smirk on her face. Leftovers are in the fridge if you still want them. You answer. What did you make? Vi asks. Mac and cheese? And she smiles. We'll have some later, love. Thank you, Caitlyn says gently. But do you understand what happened now, sweetheart? She asks. Yeah, I do. Kind of a little embarrassed now, you say. Hey, it happens to the best of us, Vi reassures, kissing you gently on the cheek. You two should go get cleaned up. You look like you've been through a lot, you say, looking at their disheveled state again. And they nod. We're a little grubby, Caitlyn admits. A little? Vi says questionably. Okay, a lot grubby. Oh, and before we get cleaned up, YN, you did an amazing job on the comms yesterday. You helped us a lot. You look at her. What happened? You ask. The call was her advantage point, confirmation that she was caught. The info you gave us was perfect, though we still got ambushed, she continues, and you nod, because she knew you were coming, and she nods again. And she moves to stand, heading to the bedroom. We'll see you in a bit, love. We'll get cleaned up, and we'll talk more later, she says as Vi follows. No need. Get some rest as well. You ain't going back to work half asleep, you say. Okay, babe. We'll get some sleep if you insist. Vi smirks. I do, you say smugly, as they walk off into the bedroom. And after your talk with Caitlyn and Vi, you feel more confident in knowing that it wasn't because they were ignoring you. Their relaxing day had turned into a mission, and they didn't get the opportunity to reply. And with that confirmation, if they don't reply, it's probably work-related. You feel a little more at ease. Until you see Vi's muddy footprints on the carpet. Your feet meet the warm heat of the soft sand sliding in between your toes as you grasp Caitlyn and Vi's hands. You know what? I think Kate's right. We needed this, you say, starting to relax after the chaotic week, and Vi nods in agreement. Well said, babe. Although Kate has almost never had a bad idea, she says in acknowledgement. Almost? Caitlyn's voice questions, though her face holds a smirk, and you tussle her hair. Whatever you say, Kate, you tease, and she just rolls her eyes, straightening her hair out again. Why bother? The seawater's gonna mess it up anyway. And Caitlyn shakes her head. I'm not going in. But that doesn't mean you and YN can't. She dismisses. Oh, come on. Why be so serious, Cupcake? It's a day off. You should be relaxing. And Kate laughs in response. Oh, I will be. On a towel reading a nice book. You roll your eyes. Come on, Vi. We'll leave Miss Library to her bookshelf. Let's take a dive. And she couldn't protest. The water was calling her name. Alright then. See ya, Kate, Vi says, as Caitlyn waves you both off. Before setting up her towel, the moment your feet touch the cool water, you feel it against your skin. You feel the difference in temperature. But Vi was already halfway in. It's fine once you're in. Come on, babe. You shake your head playfully as you follow her lead. Liar, it's freezing! You mutter before the chill slowly leaves you. Oh, never mind, you say, and she chuckles. Told you so, as she splashes you. Back on land, Caitlyn can't help but take her eyes off her book as she watches you both tease each other. She wanted to join you, but decides to stay with your things, keeping them safe. And it wasn't long before you and Vi came back dripping wet, sitting down on your own towels. Having fun yet? She asks. Yep. Relaxed already. Vi sighs. We should do things like this more often. You follow, and Kate nods, agreement in her eyes. Agreed. This has been enjoyable, especially seeing you two having so much fun in the sea. You come to stand. Oh yeah? Well, why not join in the fun? You say cheekily. Before she could protest, you hugged her from behind, and Vi followed behind you. Caitlyn, once dry, now soaked like you and Vi. Thank you, she says sarcastically, but she had a glint of appreciation in her eyes. You're welcome. You both chime in unison, as you settle back down beside her, taking in the peace and calm of the coastline, as well as the children of Piltover and Zorn laughing as they play in the sea and the sand. The day goes on, and never once did you take your feet off the sand. Building sandcastles, you and Kate bury Vi in the sand, and then she stands up dusting herself off, though it doesn't do much after being in the sea, sand sticking to her swimsuit and skin. And when the sun starts to set, you take a slow, peaceful walk back to your house, taking turns hopping in the shower and washing off the sand, and hopping into your pajamas, taking a seat on the balcony with mugs of hot chocolate in hand. As the sun finally lowers out of sight and the moon rises, you feel a little tired after the day's events, but none of you wanted to move. Instead, you grab each other's hands, holding them tightly, in a long chain, falling asleep on the lounges and dreaming of the day that you all just had. Kate reading on the sand as you and Vi splash about, making her wet after coming back to land. You and Caitlyn burying Vi in the sand and then taking the peaceful stroll back to the house. The week behind you may have been chaotic. However, today, that all seemed to melt away. It seemed all you really needed to do was bask in each other's company, spend some quality time. And so that's exactly what you did. And now, as the day fades away, and you all fall asleep on the balcony lounges, you can't help but feel grateful for all you have. The sounds of pans being lifted then being set back down on the counter once more can be heard from the kitchen. And by the time Vi and Caitlyn came in from the living room to investigate, you were already on your knees scouring every inch of the kitchen floor. Sweetheart, what's wrong? Caitlyn's voice calls, filled with concern. I've lost it, you say quietly, continuing to look for the missing item. Lost what, babe? Vi continues. You struggle to answer, your brain moving at 1,000,000%. Instead you say, it's got to be here somewhere, your voice puzzled. Vi crouches down in front of you, about to ask you what it is you've lost again, taking your hands in hers. And then she realizes, chuckling to herself. She looks up at Kate. They've lost their ring. And Kate smiles. Ah, I see. Well, we best find it then, Kate says calmly. You're not mad? You ask. Of course not, babe. Things like this happen all the time, Vi says. Where was the last place you had it? Caitlin questioned, crouching down to you, placing a light hand on your shoulder. I took it off at the sink to wash up, but when I went to put it back on, it was gone. You explain. Caitlin nods. All right then. It's got to be in this area. I'll help you look down here and Kate can look by the sink, Vi says, putting a plan in place. Caitlin nods, standing up. We'll find it, love. Don't worry. It can't be far. And you all continue to look for the missing wedding band, checking under the cabinets, under cloths and pots, and at the far end of the kitchen, and at the close end of the kitchen. You were all worried at first. You were a little worried at first about what they'd say if they found out you lost it, how they'd react. But to your surprise, though you didn't know why you were in the first place, with understanding, they helped you look for it. And as Caitlin takes a peek under the dishcloth, she hums. Found it. A smirk on her face. She holds it up to you and Vi. The ring caught on the tiniest little thread on the cloth. You and Vi come to stand, sliding a hand down your face in embarrassment. Caitlin gently removes the ring from the cloth, taking your hand in hers and sliding it back into its rightful place on your finger. And you smile. Thanks for helping me find it. Vi gently kisses you on the forehead. You'd do the same for us, in your position. No need to thank us. The room was quiet for a moment before you all started to chuckle once more, letting the situation move into the past. Caitlin gestures to the bowl on the window. That's where I leave mine when I'm washing up. I think Vi does the same as well. Keeps it safe. You nod. I'll make sure to put it in there next time. The rest of the day wasn't too eventful. You went off to work and Caitlin and Vi went into the office to prep for the next mission. Should be simple, observation of the collective. They found a lot of useful intel on their last quest, thanks to you and your quick thinking at Central Command. And when you got home, you all huddled up on the sofa, covering yourself in a large, warm, fluffy blanket, as most days often end with them, talking of your days, progress and new information, and Caitlin and Vi get up to pack the kitchen away. You fiddle with the ring on your finger. You have been most of the day, just glad not to have lost it. They glance over at the content on your face, watching you relax, your eyes closed, and Caitlin couldn't help but tuck you in with the blanket, kissing you on the lips softly. Rest, darling. It's been a long day, she whispers softly in your ear. And who are you to say no? Already falling fast asleep. That whole ring thing really had him worried, didn't it? Vi asks, and Kate nods. But that's just the kind of person they are. Always worrying about the small things, no matter how small. She looks down at you, already asleep. Maybe so, but they're ours, and we love them for it, Vi says, as they watch you sleeping peacefully. It's frustrating. Caitlin and Vi have been called out again on another observation mission on the collective. You understand they have a job to do, but being called to work out of hours means you're spending less and less time together. You give them a hug and a kiss as they walk out through the door. Feeling exhausted, you take a seat on the sofa, rubbing at your temples.
They value their work over you.
A quiet yet menacing voice calls in your mind. You brush it off as paranoia.
They take the missions to get away from you.
The voice calls again, louder this time. No, it's not true.
Are you sure about that?
You don't know where these thoughts are coming from. You know they don't have a choice. You shake your head, grounding yourself back to reality. You leave a message. Stay safe on your mission. I love you. And a few minutes later, don't worry. We will. We love you too, Caitlyn replies. See? They are implying. You tell yourself. They keep their word.
Wine and come on now. Hear my words.
The voice made its way back in. You stand abruptly, deciding that you should get some fresh air until your lovers return home. That should help. You throw on your coat and head out the door. With Caitlyn and Vi, they were watching Odalia with eagle eyes through the warehouse door, waving her hands over a crystal ball. She was talking with a low, menacing tone. What is she saying? Vi whispers. I don't know, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all, Caitlyn responds. As Odalia keeps talking, Caitlyn grabs the audio recorder from her belt, picking up the conversation that way. We'll have to review it when we get back to HQ, Caitlyn says, and Vi nods, continuing to observe. We need to get closer, Vi states. Caitlyn nods, gesturing for her to follow around the side of the building, making their way through the side entrance. They managed to get a better angle, but still couldn't hear properly. But they do catch the whisper of a name.
Wine and come on now. Hear my words.
Vi and Caitlyn glance towards each other. Is she trying to target our spouse? Vi says protectively. I don't know. I really hope it's just a coincidence. Caitlyn answers. Vi takes a picture of the scene with the camera. It's the same crystal ball from the crates, she whispers. We need to get in there. But last time, we got ambushed. And if she has this power, and something tells me she'll see us coming, Caitlyn suggests. Call it in. We need backup, Vi says firmly, and Caitlyn does exactly that, picking up the radio. As you walk along the park, you pull out your phone. Mission going well? You text. No reply for a good 20 minutes. Yes, babe. We have a plan. Are you okay? You haven't received any calls in the last half an hour, have you? Vi responds. Your brow furrows. No. Should I be worried? You respond. No. We thought something was going on with the mission, but turns out we must be wrong. You like the message and put the phone down.
They don't trust you.
The voice came again. You shake your head once more. They love me. They trust me. They care, you reassure yourself, as the worry kicks in, and you message your therapist. Hey, Jen? Can we set another appointment? Things are getting harder again. Your therapist replies immediately. Of course, YN. We can set up an appointment now if you'd like. We can have a phone call appointment now, as my last client just left. She replies, and you accept her offer, going to a safe place to discuss the next steps and what was wrong. Even though things are feeling hard right now, you remember that you still have support in place. You will take it step by step and day by day, until you have it all together again. And Jean suggests you should talk to Caitlyn and Vi about the voice, and your thoughts. Maybe it would help you. You get home just before Caitlyn and Vi, as they walk back through the door. How is there more of them than last time? I don't understand, Caitlyn says, frustrated. I don't know. I really don't know, Vi replies. This is the second attempt. I don't know if we'll ever get to the bottom of this. Caitlyn voices her concerns. We have to. Failure is not an option, Vi says bluntly. Hey, that's my line, Caitlyn jokes. But you're right, she continues. Mission didn't go well, you ask? Caitlyn shakes her head. No, it went sideways. They saw us coming. Again. But we know now that Audalia is an oracle mage. So that's a start. She practically mumbles in thought. Well, that's something. You have more information than before, right? You encourage. That's very true, Caitlyn answers. You step closer. I know I'm only an operator, but maybe I could help. I've been on missions with you before, you say. I'm not against it, but you have to be careful, Vi says gently, and you're not taking in her words. Before we go on, YN, did you put therapy on my card? Caitlyn asks. You put a hand over your face. Oh my god, I am so sorry, Kate. I thought I'd switched it over to my card, and you seem a little embarrassed, and she puts a hand on your shoulder. Don't worry. I just wanted to know. I'll cover it. Anyways, I'm glad you're able to go back for help if you need it. Her smile genuine. Vi nods. Maybe it's time we get a joint bank account. We use each other's anyway, Vi suggests, and you and Caitlyn both nod in agreement. You're married now, and you live together, so it makes sense. With the little things out the way, you join Caitlyn and Vi in the office. As you plan out your next move, sat happily on Vi's lap, as she plays with your hair. Okay, so we know she's an oracle mage, and you found crystal balls and hex tech in the crates a few missions ago. There must be a connection between the two. We just gotta figure out what it is. You start, and Caitlyn nods. Is it possible she's using hex tech to amplify her powers? Caitlyn ponders. I think there's a chance. So, what's our next move? Vi asks. We need to monitor the energy and magic flow coming from the warehouse. Without information, it's just theory, you state. Then we'll need a scientist. Maybe Victor, Caitlyn suggests, and you and Vi both nod. We should probably review that audio file as well, Vi says, and Caitlyn nods. Yes, that's a solid plan. But I still don't understand why the mission didn't go to plan, she says, frustrated. Probably because you didn't have the information you do now. With little information, it's hard to plan around it, you suggest. And they both nod, taking in your words. You all decide it's best to start preparation in the morning. Caitlyn and Vi need rest, but they want to talk with you more on how you're feeling, especially now that you're back in therapy. You tell them about the voices and the paranoia. As they wrap you in a warm blanket and huddled against you, they speak gently, tell you the opposite of what those pesky voices have been telling you. We trust you. We want you. We value you more than the mission. We want to stay home with you, but the missions are mandatory. The words restored a little more comfort than before, but they tell you to carry on with therapy until your mind settles again. And you agree. Things are starting to come together now. You have a stronger plan to deal with the collective and Audalia, and you are in therapy to deal with the paranoia, as well as Caitlyn and Vi making sure you feel loved. And despite them not being directly responsible for your thoughts, they wanted to make up for those voices. So they spend the night snuggled up with you, kissing you softly, and at one point leaving a hickey on your neck. See, you're ours, Vi says, making you chuckle a little as you kiss her back. The date of the new mission fast approaches. This will be the third attempt to gather more information on the collective and providing the most vital of information. You don't know how much damage could be done if left unchecked, but you can hardly focus. A piercing migraine right between your eyes, holding your head in your hands. Kate, can you close the curtains, please? Your voice tired, and Caitlyn nods, responding, Yeah, what's up? Her voice concerned as she draws them closed. Migraine, you reply, and Vi, standing not too far away, switches off the lights as well. You haven't been too well for the last few days. Why don't you go lie down for a bit? She suggests, and Caitlyn rubs your back. And how would they sleep with such a pain, Vi? Caitlyn questions, and Vi thinks for a moment before reaching for the paracetamol. Would these help? Vi asks. I took some a little earlier. Caitlyn looks at you. How many have you had today? You shake your head. Not sure. She nods. Okay, well, maybe don't take any more just in case, she advises, and you agree. Vi comes to sit beside you and Caitlyn, wrapping an arm around your waist. Then just rest in her arms, Vi says gently, as she guides your head to her shoulder, and you sit there with them for a while, feeling worse as time goes on. Caitlyn gives you a slight kiss on the temple, but notices something off. Darling, look at me a moment. And you do. Your pupils are really small. Do you feel dizzy at all? She asks. Yeah, a little. You respond. Yeah, you took too much. You look really unwell. Vi, call 999, she says calmly. I'm fine. It's not that bad. Your speech beginning to slur. YN, you might have overdosed by mistake. We can't leave you like this, she says, and Vi reaches for the phone, explaining the situation to the operator. You wanted to protest, but Caitlyn was right. You were starting to feel like hell, and it wasn't long before the paramedics arrive and assessed you. They tell you it's lucky that your wives are so observant. They treat you at the house, but ask that you come to stay at the hospital overnight for observation. You all agree. The hospital was clean. The sounds of monitors beeping in the background. With luck, you wouldn't be there for long. And Caitlyn was already planning for the future. And maybe we need to make a sheet of times and doses, so we don't run into this again. Vi nods. Good idea. It's a good thing you told us no when we offered, or this could have been a lot worse, she states. The migraine was still there and wasn't going away. However, now it's the least of your worries. Can we maybe talk about the mission? Might take my mind off of things, you suggest, and they both nod. Good idea, Caitlyn agrees. You sat there talking for a while about the mission and making strategy. And as the night approaches, Caitlyn and Vi are asked to leave, but they will pick you up after the observation period. And while you lay there trying to get some sleep, you are unaware of what's going on behind the scenes, as within the warehouse, Odalia is plotting her next move over the crystal ball.
You have no clue what hit you, do you? I know your next move. I'm always watching, always listening.
She laughs to herself bitterly.
I think it's time we step things up a notch.
The collective start loading the crates into lorries.
Have these scattered over, pilt over. I must see everything, hear their every move. Don't mess it up.
The door to the warehouse opens and the lorry rolls out. But what they don't know, Victor was already there observing the scene, a task assigned by Caitlyn, while reading the Hextech energy. Well, it's time I report my findings to the Kiramans, he says, snapping a photo of the lorries. The sound of the door knocking turns your attention away from your book. You get up to answer it, and behind the door stands Victor, holding his clipboard, a camera, and various other pieces of equipment. Victor, the mission, how did it go? You ask. His face was neutral, but his tone displayed concern. I have uncovered some useful intelligence on the collective. I believe them to be making progress on their own developments. You nod. All right, step inside and follow me. You guide him through your home as you reach the office, swinging the door open. Caitlyn and Vi are listening to the audio recordings they captured last observation. They noticed you both instantly, gesturing for you to sit, their expressions serious. YN, we have some bad news, and you're not going to like it. You nod understanding, and Victor speaks up. I also have some information that may not be so good. Caitlyn gestures for him to speak first. I managed to get an energy reading from the collective's base. The readings show unstable arcane from within their base. It appears to be high levels of Hextech and Oracle, which I believe they are now distributing across Piltover and Zorn as well. Caitlyn brings a hand to her chin. Well, that complicates things further. And Vi nods. You walk over to her, resting your hands on her shoulders. And what about the audio recordings? You ask. She places a hand over yours. We believe Odalia may be using the crystal balls to contact people, quite possibly through telepathy. You shake your head. How is that possible with Oracle? You ask. We don't know, but it appears she was talking to you. Listen, she requests and passes you the headset.
YN, come on now. Hear my words.
You've had that conversation, and it was in your mind. She couldn't be targeting me, right? You ask. It seems to be that way, YN. Which is why you can't be working on this mission anymore, Vi says. We really didn't want to do this, but we have to keep you safe. You nod, slightly hurt but understanding. Well, if it's for the best, you respond, and Caitlyn nods, squeezing your other hand lightly. If you hear the voices again, or get any migraines, let us know, Caitlyn says. I will, Kate. And she senses your uneasiness. Victor, shall we discuss this tomorrow? We need to speak with our spouse alone. He nods, and leaves, wishing you well. Come here, she instructs, and pulls you onto her lap. We're sorry, love. We just need to keep you safe, Caitlyn says with genuine sympathy, and Vi kisses you softly on the cheek. At least until we can see the full picture. Another headache hits. Caitlyn holds you a little tighter. Again? She asks, and you nod. That confirms it. She knows we're on to her. Caitlyn continues, rubbing your back. It'll be okay. I'll try to ignore it. That's the spirit, sweetheart. We'll be on her tail soon. Caitlyn speaks. Stop any cargo trucks in the area for checks immediately. And Vi nods. I agree. If Odalia is distributing the crystal and Hextech, then it must be stopped. You nod. Vi stands, walking over to you and pulling you into her arms. Just continue as normal. Work, home, snuggles in bed, and you'll be fine. She encourages. We'll get to the bottom of this. I promise. And she kisses you on the top of your head. I know you will. You say softly as you kiss her in return, and Caitlyn wraps her arms around you once more. Anything she might say, even if you're unsure, write it down. We need it on record, she states, and you nod. Things might seem a little crazy right now, and Odalia's plan unfortunately rapidly unfolding, but you're all onto her, as she is you, and you think to yourself what you'll be able to uncover as she tries to twist your mind, and the danger it brings to you and your lives. But one way or another, you will prevail. Bringing in another tray of hot coffee to your hard-working partners in Caitlyn's office, you set it down gently on the desk before speaking. I've got some time off work. I know how stressed you both are, and I want to be here for you, especially while you're working from home. Caitlyn looks up. Darling, you didn't have to do that, she says softly. I know, but I want to. I'm your spouse, after all. I'm here to support you, always. She smiles, and so does Vi. You're too good for us, you know that? Vi says. Not really a question, but more of a sentimental statement. We can use all the support right now. Now that we know what Odalia is planning, Caitlyn says, making sure to stay on topic. You gesture to the seat in front of you. May I sit? She nods. Yes. You need to know what's going on at this point, Caitlyn mentions, but not there. Come here, Vi says as she pats her lap, and you smirk. But you can tell there's something wrong as you place yourself on her lap. Caitlyn begins. Odalia is planning to take control of Piltover and Zorn, using the Arcane, Oracle, and Hextech to be precise. It appears she needs some sort of key to complete her plans, and we think that might be you, Wyan. She explains. Me? Why? Vi holds you before speaking up. We think it's mainly to get at us. She's trying to manipulate your mind, as we already know, trying to create a rift between us and you. We suspect it's hatred towards the current system. By getting at you, attempting to hurt us, throw us off our game. She explains further, kissing you softly on the temple for support. So she's trying to separate us. That explains part of it, you answer. Vi nods, before Caitlyn continues. It turns out from one of our spies that she needs a form of negative energy to overpower the positive. By making you believe that it's gone to shit, she would have the power needed to turn this whole continent into mindless zombies under her command. You nod understanding. So, how do we combat this? You ask. By staying calm and finding ways to shut her out. Tomorrow, we'll take you to the spa. Relax your mind and your muscles. Gain control back. Then, it's just meditation from there. Vi perks up. Let's call it a mandatory vacation. She laughs a little. And so do you. Well, it does sound like a nice getaway, so if it's necessary, I'm not complaining. And Caitlyn smiles. Good. After we shut her out, we plan our next move without her prying eyes. We know she's listening, so she knows we're onto her. She needs to know she's going to lose. But not what we'll do next. You nod once more, understanding. After a long discussion about how you were going to shut Odalia out of your mind, and how to take control back without her hearing her constant nagging in the back of your mind, and the constant migraines trying to lead you away, you leave the room, washing the coffee mugs and getting ready for tomorrow, where you'll meet up with another Oracle Mage, who will not only help you lock her out, but cast a spell of protection. Let's just call it fighting fire with fire. And when the day is done, you'll be back on the mission with Caitlyn and Vi, planning your next move together. You won't win, you say in your mind, intending for her to hear you. We know your plan, you continue. You are cut off from here on out. We will prevail. No response. But from the headache you're starting to get, you know she heard you, and she's not happy about it. Caitlyn is on the phone with someone from the inside, giving her intel. Ma'am, what should we do with the crystals around the city? The voice on the other end asks. Leave them. Do not get caught. We're sending out a team in a few days to find and destroy them. Keep feeding us intel. Do not go dark on us. Regular check-ins. She responds. Yes, ma'am. The call ends. It's all coming together. It's finally time to meet up with the Oracle Mage at her private resort in the forest. YN, this is Sally. Sally, this is Caitlyn. And YN. Vi says, introducing you both to her. Why, it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Caitlyn and YN. Welcome. She greets as she shakes your hand gracefully. You as well, you answer. Now then, Vi has told me of your situation with Odalia. I know her well. A few years ago, that was. Anyhow, with that being said, I know her tactics. Let's get you all relaxed to shut her out. Then we can begin the process of the protection spell. There's no use in casting such an incantation if she's still within the walls of your mind. You nod as she speaks. It isn't long before she guides you over into the steam room, with Caitlyn and Vi joining you as well. Now, just relax, close your eyes, and focus on your wives as they hold your hand. Any distrust that Odalia has instilled in you shall be cast away within this moment. Focus on them, warmth and words, Sally says as you interlock your fingers with Caitlyn and Vi, closing your eyes, as Sally's magic glows around you all. The feeling of security fills your heart and your mind, your muscles relaxing with each words. Can you hear her? Do you feel her presence in your mind? Sally asks. I don't think so. No, you respond. Sally nods. You spend a few more minutes in the steam room before moving into a small garden. There were lighted candles and blankets laid over the grass. You were guided to sit. Sally looks at the crystal orb in the center before removing it and placing it out of sight. If Odalia truly has the power to connect all oracle objects, she could interrupt the protection spell. Instead, she wraps a string around 2 separate candles, connecting the 2 and lighting them. You close your eyes once more, Caitlyn and Vi at your side. You ready? Caitlyn asks, and you nod. Good. Then let's do this, Vi states confidently, holding you close. Caitlyn with a hand on your back as Sally speaks. With this spell, I cast protection over YN to shield them from Odalia. I cast to separate her presence from YN's mind. Odalia, you are not welcome here, nor in the telepathic presence of their mind of this individual. I cast you out. I cast protection. You must leave their mind. I cast peace of mind and stability to YN. She then lets quiet fill the garden. She watches the candles carefully, and over time, the string burns, separating the 2 candles. The separation is complete, and protection is cast in place. As you get ready, Sally has one final word for you all. Good luck, you 3. I will be cheering you on from the sidelines, as she waves you from the door. So, how's your head? Vi asks. Quiet and migraine-free, you say softly. Glad to hear it, Caitlyn speaks, kissing you lightly on the lips. Excuse me, let me get some of that, Vi interrupts, making you both laugh before she also gives you a kiss. As you walk back to Piltover, laughter and chatter fills the air. So, phase 2? You ask. Tomorrow, let's just enjoy the quiet for now. Enjoy the moment. And Vi agrees as well. Rest today, work tomorrow, she confirms, and you nod. Sounds like a plan. Caitlyn looks over at you. How long have you got off work? She asks. About 2 weeks? That's more than enough time to get this done. She contemplates. You know, Ian, you're quite good at this sort of thing. You sure Central Command was the best call? And you look at her. I'm not sure. I love both jobs. I wouldn't mind doing this, but then again, I don't want to move careers just after starting a new one. And Vi nods. Something to think about then. Vi continues. Certainly. Caitlyn agrees once more. And so, you have another thing to consider. Search and destroy. That's the mission. Find the Hextech-infused crystal orbs and destroy them. Blinding Odalia one crystal ball at a time. And that's what will give you the opportunity to take her by surprise. Walking past the old hex gates, you find one. Found one by the old hex gates, you report over the radio. Copy that. Dispose of it. Over. Caitlyn responds. Got one here too, Vi adds. Good work. Continue to dispose of them as you find them. Over. Caitlyn responds once more. Commander, please switch to the private channel. Your voice comes over the radio. Copy. Her voice responds. YN, responding from channel 6. Check in. She continues. Headaches are back. The closer I get to the orbs, you say quietly. Okay. If they get worse, or if you hear her again, abort and head home. Try to continue as long as you can, sweetheart. She responds. Alright, thanks, Kate. A few hours go past, and you manage to continue on with the task at hand, remembering to meditate and breathe as you dispose of each crystal you find, one by one. It seems to help, but it's very possible that the protection spell Sally cast is weak, and by the time you get home, you're practically exhausted, and Vi notices very quickly. Babe, sit down. You should have aborted, she says, frantically, but you were already heading down to the couch. I know, but I couldn't let you both down. She takes a seat beside you. Come here, and you lean into her touch. You're not letting us down, at all. Odalia's probably just trying to get back into control after losing it. Just remember what Sally taught you, okay? She says sympathetically, and you nod as Caitlyn walks through the door. Had a feeling this would happen. Are you okay, love? She asks. Yeah, I'm okay. I just need to lay down for a bit. Have a hot shower, maybe? You respond, and she holds your hands in hers. That's good. Well done. I'll contact Sally and see what she knows. Try to keep her out, yeah? And you nod, getting up, kissing her on the cheek. Will do, Kate. And when you're out of earshot, Caitlyn pulls out her phone, contacting Sally. She is going to send over a herbal remedy, blessed with additional protection. It will help to keep her out longer. Just add a small amount to their morning drink each day, and they will be fine. The call ends. You think they'll be okay? Vi adds. YN is resilient. If anyone can get through it, it's them. They managed to walk across all of Zorn injured, been ambushed by the collective, kidnapped by their father, and survived it all. She says with confidence. I know, but that's just it. They've been through enough. I hate that they're constantly under fire. It's not fair on them. Caitlyn nods agreeing. We just have to trust that they will be okay. and be there for them throughout it all. Now the orbs have been disposed of, Odalia has nothing to hold on to now. We'll keep watch and hope it passes. Later that evening, Caitlyn and Vi snuggle into you closely under the covers, whispering in soft, hushed tones, and the tension from earlier seems to have faded away. For the next couple of days, you continue to use the remedy from Sally, and with the orbs gone, Odalia has nothing to contact you with. Another good sign. Now, all you need to do is wait for the perfect time to strike. Rallying a team won't be too difficult. A lot of the enforcers have already signed up to join the infiltration mission, and most of them are highly skilled and qualified. Victor has managed to invent a sort of electromagnetic bomb that will shut off all of Odalia's systems. Come the time, everything is now in order. Well, so it seems. The spy on the inside has now returned from duty, with some useful intelligence as well. It seems that luck is on your side, but will it stay that way? Only time will tell. It's time to assemble the team that will bring Odalia down, once and for all. A team of highly skilled, highly trained individuals, prepared to deal with even the toughest of opponents. You, Caitlyn and Vi, stand before a large model resembling the battlefield, with the rest of the troops gathered around, eyes strictly focused on the display in front of them. Our entry points are here, here, and here, Caitlyn begins. The front entrance, the back entrance, and the skyline. We will need at least 2 people surrounding each. It is imperative that no one gets out without being escorted out in handcuffs. Her voice is firm, leaving no room for argument. Odalia and the collective are skilled in deception and manipulation. They can and will use any opportunity to corrupt your minds. Do not give it to them. You pitch in, and Caitlyn nods, gesturing for you to continue, Vi holding your hand supportively. You take a deep breath, recalling the plan, as you begin to explain. You stumble a little over your words, but manage to get through your speech. And finally, Vi takes her turn. If the collective achieve their goal, every mind in both cities, Piltover and Zorn, could be lost for good. If we do everything correctly, the nation will be safe, and the collective will be brought to justice. Do we need to go over any of this again? Vi asks, making sure everyone is on the same page. They all shake their heads, signaling they understand. Good. Then everyone go get some rest. We'll be leaving tomorrow at sundown. Eat, hydrate, sharpen your weapons. Do whatever you need to do to prepare. Do not be late. After everyone has distributed, you are left in the room with Vi and Caitlyn. You both did so great, Caitlyn praises. I am surprised with how well spoken you both were, she continues. Really? I thought I was a little shaky. Why, Anne, you did amazing. Don't go talking like that, Caitlyn says with confidence, making you blush. I mean, it's not about the slight stammers. You got your point across. That's what matters the most, Vi adds. I suppose you're right. How did I get so lucky to meet you both? You say with a slight glint in your eye. Vi hooks one arm around your waist, kissing you on the cheek. Oh, babe. How you flatter us, she says teasingly. Caitlyn takes your other hand in hers. I do try, you say jokingly, and they both smile at that. Later on that evening, you find yourself back at home relaxing on the sofa. Or at least trying to. Your mind's caught up on the quest ahead. There is no turning back now. Even if you wanted to, the collective has to be stopped. In order to save the cities you grew up in, you decide to head to bed early, making sure you are well rested for tomorrow's events. And when the curtains are pulled open, you eat your breakfast and drink your coffee. Shoving yourselves in the shower and into the car, heading over to HQ. Last-minute preparations, training sequences, pulling on your gear and going over the full plan one last time. And right on cue, Victor walks in with the device that will be your key to both security and stealth. Be careful with it. Give it too much power, and you will shut down the power throughout Piltover.
Give it too little
power, and you won't have enough to shut the factory's power down. He warns, passing the device over to Caitlyn. She pulls the bag over her shoulder. Thank you, Victor. I appreciate your assistance, Caitlyn says before Vi adds, we all do. He waves it off. No problem at all, Miss Kiriman. It is my pleasure, he says before turning away once more. Enforcers, fall in! Caitlyn calls, grabbing everyone's attention. This is it. Make no mistakes. The future of Piltover and Zorn depends on it. Her instructions are clear and precise. Yes, ma'am. Right. Then full out! And you're finally on your way to the final battle. This is it. Make no mistakes. The future of Piltover and Zorn depends on it. Her instructions are clear and precise. Yes, ma'am. Right. Then full out! And you're finally on your way to the final battle. You arrive at the Collective's factory, hiding behind the shrubbery of the woods surrounding you. All right, team. Let's do this. One last chance, Caitlyn says over the radio. You crouch down to the floor, opening the electromatic bomb. Not too much, not too little, you whisper, remembering Victor's words from earlier, playing it in your mind while activating the device. Electrical interception active, you say quietly. Great work, YN. Okay, phase 2. In the factory, the power goes out. Crystal balls are down, and Hextech rendered practically useless.
What is this? Someone sort it out.
Odalia howls. It appears as some sort of electromagnetic interference, ma'am. There's no way around it. She shakes her head. She is about to speak again before one of the others shouts, We've got company! It's the Blues! Silent for a moment before responding.
How many of them are there?
Surrounding the whole building, ma'am. They preach. Collective, we have the place surrounded. Open the doors with your hands up, or entry will be forced. Vi instructs.
Don't just stand there, you idiots! In position!
The collective takes a fighting stance, weapon at the ready, but when the door bursts inwards, they are useless. Every single weapon, laced with the same tech and magic used to power the crystal orbs.
Fire already, you imbeciles!
Negative, ma'am. Weapons are down as well. Another voice calls. Odalia and the collective, you are under arrest for the use of banned and illegal material and malpractice in the arts of the arcane. Hands behind your head and on the ground now! Your voice sharp with Caitlyn and Vi standing behind you.
Pyramans, should have known it was you the second I lost contact with...
I said hands behind your head, on the ground, now! You have the right to remain silent. Whatever you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. Your words final. Officers, detain them. Take them in for questioning. Caitlyn's voice demands. The enforcers fan out into the factory, and one by one, escorting the collective out of the building. Each in handcuffs. You step forward, cuffing Odalia yourself. It's over, Odalia. No more mind games. No more tricks. You're finished. Shouldn't have made that phone call. As you lift her from the floor. Move. Now. Your voice leaving no room for argument yet again.
This won't be the end of this,
she argues. I can assure you it will be. You're going away for a very long time, Caitlyn corrects. You messed with the wrong spouse, she continues. All Odalia could do now was huff and puff as she was escorted into the van. Well, phase 3 complete. Easier than expected, Caitlyn says, satisfaction lacing her voice. Well, it was better to have more than enough to outnumber them versus being unprepared. Caitlyn nods, kissing you softly on the cheek. Couldn't have said it better myself, she says softly. Man, it feels like forever since we've had a good time to bond and spoil each other, Vi mentions. You're right, it has been a hell of a ride. I can't wait to cuddle with you both, Caitlyn chuckles. Same here, but we won't be able to do any of that until we're back home. Let's get this lot to the station and then we can clock out. Vi continues. Alright, love. You want to say it? Me? Why me? You ask. Well, you deserve it. You've worked so hard on this mission despite everything. Who says you can't have a little fun? Vi states, and Caitlyn gestures for you to go ahead as you climb into the other vehicle, nodding. Alright, team, let's roll out! Kate and Vi smile, a proud sensation washing over them as you make your way back to headquarters. Peace at last. Finally, the battle against Odalia is over. Your mind now at rest, you wake up to your wives led next to you, Vi resting her head on your chest, and Caitlyn huddled into your side, her arm wrapped around you both. Looking down at them, you don't want to move, scared of waking them up. They look so peaceful, so content, so calm. You can't help but smile as you kiss Vi on the top of her head, then wrapping your arm around Caitlyn. Good morning, hun. Morning, Kate. Your voice a whisper. You're awake, Caitlyn acknowledges. Just woke up, you answer. I see. Vi still fast asleep? Caitlyn's voice groggy as ever. Can you blame her? Yesterday was a lot, you ask. Not really, but that's why I'm looking forward to today. Nothing but relaxation and time to ourselves. You nod in agreement as Vi starts to shift. You lay her head back down on your chest. I'm comfy, you say, as Vi opens her eyes, chuckling. Oh, you are? Well, I guess I'll have to stay like this a little bit longer then. She teases, holding you closer now. So, are we having a lovey-dovey day then? Caitlyn inquires. No, but who says we have to get up right now? Vi counters. My stomach. Her tone blunt. Oh no! The great commander is starving! You laugh. She glares but didn't retaliate. Alright then. In that case, we should probably make some breakfast, Vi says, almost in surrender. Eventually, you all manage to roll yourselves out of bed and into the kitchen. Making breakfast, boiling the kettle, and exchanging gentle kisses under the soft glow of the morning sunrise. The peace of the morning feels like a dream. No rushing out the door to get to work. No one paging you for an emergency. Today, you're off the call of duty. So much so that it's hard to know what to do. The house is clean, there's no more unpacking to do. How about a game of double? Vi suggests. I'm down. What about you, Ryan? Caitlyn asks. Yeah, I could go for a game of double. You sit down around the coffee table. Jeez, you call out. Target, Caitlyn spots. How are you both so good at this? Vi's voice squeaks. See it, match it, call it, Caitlyn says simply. Speaking of which, Turtle. Damn it! You and Vi say at once. There was a silence for just a moment, before laughter fills the air, won by Caitlyn, of course. You decide to take a long, leisurely stroll in the park. Hand in hand, you head to the lake nearby, watching the ducks and geese float gracefully on the water, chatting, laughing and joking. And near the day's end, you discuss dinner. No one wanted to cook tonight. So, you head to one of the nearest Chinese takeout places, ordering your food, then heading back home with bags in tow. Your living room filled with mouth-watering smells. Once you finished your meal and packed everything away, you turn on your gaming console, flicking through the games until you find one you like. Hours go past, though it doesn't feel like it. You look down at your watch resting on your wrist. Jeez, it's 1 a.m., you say astounded. No, it's not. Oh my goodness, it is, Caitlyn says, mirroring your surprise. Guess it's safe to say it's bedtime, Vi adds, and Caitlyn nods, saving the game and turning off the console. And with that, your day ends the same way it started, encased in one another's warmth, huddled under the covers. Some could say that you look like a litter of kittens all piled on top of each other. The alarm is set, the lights are switched off, and the curtains are drawn. All that's left to do now is to drift off into a peaceful night's sleep. Or what's left of it anyway. The house quiet. The only sounds to be heard, your soft breathing and the night's breeze. Your day was perfect, just as planned. But unfortunately, the rest couldn't last forever. You've got work to do, bills to pay, and goals to achieve. But that's just how you like it. Life would be pretty boring if it were easy. You walk through the doors at Central Command, expecting to start your day as normal. Headset on, computer on, for the next 10 hours, taking emergency calls for Piltover and Zorn. However, when you reach the lobby, there is an announcement on the loudspeaker. Mix Kierman, please come to the head office. Chief Woods and Commander Kierman would like to speak with you directly. You look at your colleague, who shrugs, also not aware of what's going on. Heading to the lifts, straight to the top floor, your heels clacking against the floor as you walk. When you get to the top, you hear your wife's voice coming from inside. Come in, love. Once inside, Chief Woods gestures for you to sit. Now, I'm sure you're wondering why we asked you here today. Please do not worry. You are not in any trouble, she begins. Quite the contrary, actually, Caitlyn continues. I'm not following. What's going on? You ask curiously. Myself and Commander Kierman have been discussing your recent side mission, handling the collective. We believe you are destined for so much more than sat at a desk at Central Command's call center, Chief Woods is sat tall and professional, but her face displays a proud expression as Caitlyn steps forward with a hand resting on your shoulder. It's not up to us, of course. It's your decision to make. However, we would like you to take a promotion as an enforcer, working with myself and Vi. You are highly disciplined in combat, and your professionalism, even on a voluntary mission, was extraordinary. What do you say, love? Are you up for a promotion? She asks. You take a moment to consider before nodding. I remember talking with you about this, Kate. Commander. And I think I'd like to give it a try. Caitlyn nods, smiling. There's no need for that, love. We're married, after all. What you call me is fine, she says softly. So, what do you say, Miss Kerman? Are you up for it? Chief Woods inquired. Yes, I would love to, you answer. Good. Then you'll start next week. We'll give you time to mentally prepare for the change, and you can continue in Central Command until then. She continues. Thank you, Chief. You respond, bowing your head slightly. Very well. Continue with your day as normal. You are dismissed. You stand up from your chair, exchanging a glance with Caitlyn, who is smiling right back at you. The rest of your day goes well. The hours on the clock ticking by. 6 p.m. Time to go home. Getting in your car, seatbelt on, and driving home. Once you finally arrive, you kick off your shoes and hung up your jacket. Looks like Officer Kierman is finally home, Vi says, grinning. I'm so fucking proud of you right now, babe. Vi is practically glowing with excitement. She walks over to you and wraps you in a warm embrace. I never thought I'd see myself as an enforcer, but here we are. She chuckles. You know, it's the same for me. I used to despise them, literally. But life is a strange way of giving us the unexpected. She pulls back just enough to look you in the eyes, placing the gentlest of kisses to your lips. You're certainly right about that. Just look at the little family we've turned out to be, Caitlyn says, walking into the room, placing down a fresh uniform on the back of the sofa before taking your hand. And there will be so much more to come, she finishes. And as you finally slip away to get changed in your pajamas, you reflect on the events of the past few weeks. You moved into your new home, started a new career, had your mind inhabited by a mage using illegal materials and magic, and protected by another, then taking down Odalia beside your wives. It's safe to say it's been a wild ride, and hopefully now, things will be a little smoother from here on out. This video contains hypnosis and meditation. Please do not listen if you are driving, operating heavy machinery, or any other situation where you are unable to fall asleep. Mid-afternoon on a Saturday, you hear a knock at your door. You answer it, surprised to see one of your old clients from the salon on the other side. Sydney, what are you doing here? She fiddles with her hands for a moment before removing her hood. I hate to bother you, considering you don't work as a hairdresser anymore, but you shake your head. You are always welcome in my chair, Sydney. Working or no, come on in. You guide her over to the vanity in your bathroom. I still have the most of my equipment. I still find myself cutting my wife's hair from time to time. She chuckles slightly before asking, how much do I owe you? To fix this Disaster. You shake your head. Nothing. Consider this a friendly gesture. Now tell me, how did this happen? You ask. Sydney goes on to tell you about what happened, having some mental trouble and tried to play with her hair as a coping mechanism. I see. So, what I'm thinking is keep the purple, but patch up the stuff you missed. Touch up the roots a little, you ask, and Sydney nods. Aye, that sounds good. You take a look at her hair length. How much do you want off? She considers a moment. Maybe an inch? You nod. Alright, I'll start with the elasticity tests and porosity tests, using the hair dye we know that you won't react to, get you all cloaked up, and we'll get started. It takes about 3 hours. Dyeing, wash, trim, and blow dry. Sydney takes a long look at her hair. I love it, she says with a grin on her face. I am so glad. If you ever need help with your hair again, just come to me. I'm always happy to help out an old friend. Sydney sticks around for a few more minutes before saying goodbye. Who was that? Caitlyn asked curiously. Just an old friend of mine. Also an old client. She had some trouble with her hair and I agreed to help her out. She nods. Need help cleaning up? Vi asks. Yeah, if you would. She nods. No problem, babe. She says, kissing you softly on the lips. While you do that, I'll go get dinner going. Caitlyn states, as you all move to the tasks at hand. It doesn't take too long. All three of you working together, and when the bathroom was cleaned up and dinner was made, you sit around the table tucking into a well-made meal by Caitlyn. After dinner, you wash up the plates and the cups, then pack them away in their respected places and cabinets. What do you want to do for the rest of the evening? I'm not sure, sweetheart. What about you, Vi? Vi thinks for a moment before responding. I've got nothing, actually. You know what? Maybe that's exactly what we do. Nothing. Just chill. You and Caitlyn nod in agreement. PJs, bed, and books with a heap full of snuggles? You inquire? Exactly what I thought, Vi confirms. Not long later, you all piled up into bed. You and Caitlyn reading a book each, and Vi hopping on a game online with some of her mates. There wasn't anything special about the day. No, not really. But what you do know is that it was a happy one, filled with things you love. Hairdressing, books, and quality time spent beside Caitlyn and Vi. And you wouldn't have it any other way. Life can be so eventful at times, always on the go and doing things, or feeling tired or burnt out from just the smallest of tasks. Sometimes, letting ourselves have a day's rest, whether it be reading, practicing a hobby, or even making a hot meal to share with your family, can make all the difference. Take care of yourself, mind and body. You deserve a rest, a break, recuperation. Now just let that sink in. Close your eyes and imagine yourself in your favorite place with the people you care about most beside you. Feel their closeness, their warmth, and hold on to that feeling. Relax your shoulders. Yes, that means you listening. Relax your shoulders. Consider the fourth wall broken, because you are worth it. Suggestion by Elfie906. You were about to take a nice warm shower before your lovers come home from work. You slide the door of the shower open, stepping into the warm, steamy water. You grab your soap and your sponge. Before you start to feel a little dizzy, your head throbbing. You question whether you should get out of the shower, but you realize you don't have the time, your head feeling heavier by the second. You decide sitting down where you are would be the best option for you. You only get about halfway down before you collapse against the cold, hard frame of the shower bath. Babe, I'm back from work, Vi calls, but you don't answer. YN, where are you, sweetheart? She continues to call out again. She works her way around the house before heading to the bedroom, thinking you must already be asleep. The sounds of running water catch her ears. She gets closer to the ensuite bathroom. Babe, are you in there? She asks again, but no response. You're really starting to worry me now. She waits a little bit longer before deciding she couldn't risk it. Babe, I'm coming in, she says with no hesitation. The door breaks open, the wall vibrating under the force of Vi's foot. She spots you immediately, rushing to the side of the bath, sliding the glass door open. Babe, wake up for me. Eyes open. Her voice panicked. Shit! She panics and she turns off the water. Fuck! What do I do? She sits there for a second before deciding she needed to get you out of the tub. Alright, love. Let's get you out of here. Once she'd gotten you out of the tub, she pulls out her phone. Hello, 999? What is your emergency? The operator answers. It's my spouse, YNLN. They passed out in the shower before I got home, and they're out cold. The woman was quiet for a moment, not meaning to slip from her professional demeanor. She is a colleague of yours, one you know well. Are they breathing? She asks. Yes, they are breathing, but it's weak, Vi answers. Is there anything blocking their airways? Checks for a second before answering. No. Alright, can you provide your address for me? Piltover Rosings Park Avenue, 12 PZ13 3L1. Vi answers. Sending an ambulance to your location. Try to get them conscious and talking if you can. And that's exactly what she does. Caitlyn was just at work when one of the enforcers came rushing over to her. Ma'am, you need to head over to the Piltover Hospital right away. Caitlyn turns. Officer, what's wrong? It's your spouse, ma'am. YN? Miss Kierman found her unconscious in the bathroom when she arrived home a few minutes ago. Caitlyn's eyes widen in shock. All right, thank you. Inform the second commandment. They need to take over for me early. I'm leaving immediately. It wasn't long before the sound of the car screeching to a halt outside the hospital can be heard. Sweetheart, are you alright? Caitlyn calls worried. I am now, thanks to Vi. She breathes a sigh of relief. They want to keep them for overnight testing. They still don't know what brought it on. Caitlyn nods. Then we'll be right by your side this whole time. Right, Vi? Caitlyn asks, and Vi nods. That's right. We won't leave your side for even a second. Vi agrees, and you smile weakly. It doesn't take too long for the doctors to figure out what caused it. Dehydration and not enough food and nutrients. They had you on some fluids and had you eat properly. You must have been so busy lately that you forgot about your needs. But Caitlyn and Vi makes sure you'll never forget again. Downloaded an app on your phone to give you a hydrate reminder at least every 10 or so minutes. And with that being said, everyone hydrate. No, energy drinks and coffee do not count. Yes, sweetheart. That means you too. A fluffy surprise in loving memory of my beautiful Maine Coon, Ruby. You open the door to your home, your hands full with a carrier Caitlyn and Vi didn't expect to see. What's that you got there, sweetheart? You look at her smiling. Oh, this? Just a new friend. Your voice nonchalant. A new friend? Vi asks curiously. Come say hi. You place the carrier on the floor, opening the little gate on the front. Caitlyn and Vi both kneel down to peer inside the carrier. Inside, a small blonde kitten, about 3 months old. Caitlyn's eyes lit up. Oh, so cute. Male or female? She asks. She's female, you answer. Does she have a name? Vi asks. No, not yet, but I have an idea. Caitlyn perks her eyes at you. What are you thinking? There was a short silence before you answer. Ruby. She has a small touch of red to her fur in some places. There was no argument from either Caitlyn or Vi. It's perfect, Vi agrees. It suits her, Caitlyn acknowledges. But we're going to need a lot of supplies. A litter tray, food bowls, cat toys, the food itself. Caitlyn continues. Well, we have a lot of shopping to do, Vi says. Where do we keep her until we get back? Caitlyn asks. She'll have to stay in the carrier for now. Then we'll get her to explore a bit when we get back, you answer. And about an hour later, you arrive at the pet shop, picking up stuff for Rubes. Cat treats, dry food, wet food, a cage, just so she's safe while she's settling in. A few toys, a scratching post that Caitlyn is praying that she uses instead of the carpets or the furniture. But you and Vi kind of figured it's inevitable. A letter tray. Don't forget the flea treatment and wormer for later on. As the cashier finishes scanning it all, you are flabbergasted by the price. Over £200. Well, it's certainly worth it for the little bowl of fluff that's waiting for you back at home. After you paid and unloaded the car, you spent some quality time with little Ruby, watching her explore the new environment she's in. And Caitlyn books a checkup appointment at the vet's. The list of responsibilities for taking care of a cat is endless. Food, hydration, litter, entertainment, vet visits, and vet bills. This is going to be a lot of work, but I'm glad she's here with us, Caitlyn says. She's so cute and so welcomed, Vi continues. She's perfect. Our perfect little baby Ruby. And as time passes, you feel like you're already starting to create a little bond with the kitten in your arms. Her fur so soft, her purr gentle but surprisingly loud for a kitten her size. Her meow is unmistakable. And about a week later you return home to Caitlyn with Ruby, sat both fast asleep on the sofa. Ruby was led on her back, legs in the air. You pull your phone out of your pocket, giggling as you take a photo. Vi walks up behind you, giggling as well. Oh, so cute. She tries to keep her voice low. Another day, you found that you'd left the wardrobe open, and there was Ruby, happily bundled between the cloth. Not the bed, not the floor, not the cat bed or the sofa, tucked underneath your neatly folded clothes. Snap goes your camera once more. Later that day, she was wide awake in the bedroom, zooming back and forth between rooms like she's Turbo. You've even caught her trying to climb the door frame of all things she could climb. She's only been here a week and already acting like she owns a place, Caitlyn says. Because she's a queen and she knows it. She's got quite the personality. She fits right in, Vi agrees. And she was right about that one too. If one thing's for certain, she's found herself at home. To my beautiful Ruby, who I miss so much, I dedicate this episode to you. You brought us so much love and joy. But now it is time for you to cross the rainbow bridge to join Poppet and Grandad. I hope you are living your best afterlife. Lots of love, Mummy, Nanny, Victor and Kenneth. Rest in peace, my baby. The night air is cool against your skin as you walk to the hill just to the side of Piltover. You've been waiting to do this for weeks now. Unfortunately, life has been so busy, there's been almost no time, even in the evenings. But you are all determined that tonight is the night, that you'll sit beneath the twinkling night sky upon the highest hill on the edge of Piltover. You find the perfect spot on the hill. You lay the blanket down and take your seat, breathing in the fresh air. We've earned this, Vi says, her voice quiet. Caitlyn nods, agreeing, a hand on her shoulder. Agreed. We've been through a lot the past few months. You chuckle. That's for sure. Some things good, others, well. Vi nods. There was our honeymoon, she says, looking into the sky. This is amazing, you say in awe, as your wives nod. Truly a sight to behold, Caitlyn agrees. Looks like a ton of fun, Vi states, looking to the show above. Something is telling me you feel a little left out. YN accidentally lost their wedding ring in a pile of dishcloths, Caitlyn adds. That whole ring thing really had him worried, didn't it? Y asks, and Kate nods. But that's just the kind of person they are. Always worrying about the small things, no matter how small. She looks down at you, already asleep. Maybe so, but they're ours, and we love them for it, Vi says, as they watch you sleeping peacefully. We had a tussle with Odalia, you continue. You step forward, cuffing Odalia yourself. It's over, Odalia. No more mind games, no more tricks. You're finished. Shouldn't have made that phone call. As you lift her from the floor. Move, now. Your voice leaving no room for argument yet again.
This won't be the end of this.
Didn't go too well for her though. Vi laughs. You're right about that, hun. You agree. All that matters now is this moment. Finally, room to breathe, Caitlyn says. You lay down on the soft blanket laid over the grass. Then what are you waiting for? Live it up! And sure enough, they join you, laying down themselves, looking up at the stars. Though, there is another positive, Vi adds. Caitlyn says with intrigue. We adopted Ruby into our care. This is going to be a lot of work, but I'm glad she's here with us, Caitlyn says. She's so cute and so welcomed. Vi continues. She's perfect. Our perfect little baby Ruby. How could we forget Rubes? She's definitely made herself at home, Caitlyn adds, as you stare up once more at the starry night sky, letting the breeze of fresh air wash over you, letting the fresh air wash over each of you. breathing it in like the soft fragrance of perfume. You let yourself soak up that feeling, the smells, the sensations. You take Vi's and Kate's hand in yours. They both turn to face you, kissing your cheeks softly. I love you both so much, you say, your voice airy. And we love you too, sweetheart. So much. Life would not be the same without you, Caitlyn says with love in her heart. If I could choose a life, I'd always choose this one, Vi says, a heartfelt statement. Same here. We have our ups and downs, but we always find a way to get through it together. None of you said anything after that. But then again, it feels like you don't need to. You have each other's company, hand in hand on top of the Piltover Hill, looking at the starry night sky and the view of the city below. The soft blanket you lay on, quite a contrast from the grass beneath it. You point out the little shooting star in the sky, the different constellations, Caitlyn even recalling some of their names. While looking down at the city, you spot the area that your street is on, laughing about how small people, cars and houses look from up here. Sipping the warm flasks of hot chocolate Caitlyn had brought along with you, you sing a quiet melody together. Call it what you want. A night out, a date night, a family night, whatever you choose to call this. I think we can all agree on the peace of the night, the tranquility and the atmosphere made this night truly special, and you don't want it to end.
It doesn't even make sense why I think about you. It was only one night, only that time, and it's not my style to be caught up in the middle like this. 'Cause now I dream about you. I was probably too drunk, it's blurry, but I've got the image of you running circles in my mind right now. And it could fade away, but it probably won't, and I should let it be. But I'm gonna dive into you, and maybe I'll drown, but what can I do? And it would be alright to let me down. Rather we try than let these feelings slide. So I'm gonna dive into you.
It doesn't even make sense why we try to fight it. Every time that we touch, the room caught on fire. We could blame it on the wine, but we know that we will both be lying. I wish I didn't want you. I was doing just fine, the way that it was. Then you hand me these emotions, didn't want them, but I guess that I'm stuck with them. They could go away, but I know they won't, and I should let it be. But I'm gonna dive into you, and maybe I'll try, but what can I do? And it will be alright to let me down. I'd rather we try than let these feelings slide. So I'm gonna dive into you, dive into you, dive into you, dive into you, dive into you. Yeah, I'm gonna dive into you.
It doesn't even make sense why I think about you. It was only one night, only that time, and it's not my style to be caught up in the middle like this.
But I'm gonna dive into you, and maybe I'll try. What can I do? And it will be alright to living